So President Trump goes on, he brags about the economy. He talks about that since his election, we've created 7 million new jobs, 5 million more than the government experts projected during the previous administration. He talks about the low unemployment rate. He talks about the net worth of bottom half of wage earners increasing by 47%, 3 times faster than the increase for the top 1%. I mean, it's this whole litany of good news. And the Democrats will not stand up. Not only will they not stand up, they're really upset about it. And they grow increasingly upset as the speech goes on. Now, Trump leads with all the most unifying stuff, right? All the most unifying stuff is, here's the good news for the country. And the Democrats cannot stand it. Horrible look for them, because then by the time that Trump gets to his actual policy proposals, many of which are very controversial, by the time he gets to that, and Democrats are walking out, first of all, not all Americans are watching by that point. Second of all, the Democrats wouldn't stand for even the good things. So why do we care that they're walking out for the stuff they don't like, that they actively dislike? If you won't stand up, see, you have no credibility. If you want to have credibility, if you're a Democrat, and you want to have credibility to say that what Trump just said is so awful that I'm really upset about it, you can't sit down while he says the good part. You have to stand up for the good part, and then when he says the bad part, then you walk out. It just is a matter of optics. But Democrats don't understand optics, apparently. So instead, they sit down for all the good news. So, example, here's President Trump, this clip 6. Here's President Trump talking about that net worth of bottom half of wage earners, which is the best news for President Trump, right? Is that the Democrats keep complaining that all of the growth is going to the people at the top, and that is not true. An enormous amount of growth is going to the people at the lower end of the economic spectrum, because as it turns out, capitalism is a fantastic engine. Here's President Trump.
Since my election, the net worth of the bottom half of wage earners has increased by 47%, 3 times faster than the increase for the top 1%. After decades of flat and falling incomes, wages are rising fast, and wonderfully, they are rising fastest for low-income workers who have seen a 16% pay increase since my election. This is a blue-collar boom. Real median household income is now at the highest level ever recorded.
Okay, this is all great news, and the Democrats are sitting there sucking lemons. I mean, every lemon in the Grove. It's amazing. They've somehow turned lemonade into lemons, and they are sucking on those lemons. And they are sour-faced, and they are angry, and they are upset, right? And then President Trump moved into the more controversial parts of his speech. Now, what was great about the speech? Many things great about the speech. One of the things that was great about this speech was that President Trump did, as I say, he front-loaded all the unifying stuff, and Democrats refused to even cheer for their own unification. And then he moved into subtle critiques of the Democrats via popular policies, which is excellent, excellent politics. So he right before he gets into all the controversial parts, he talks about criminal justice reform, a policy I don't like, by the way. I think criminal justice reform is based on the basic lie that there's mass incarceration in the country based on race, that the police are going and rounding up black and brown people for no reason, and that this is just the repeal of the 13th Amendment in effect and all of that. I don't believe any of that. I think it's mythical. I think people who commit crimes should go to jail. And I think that releasing people early from prison who go to jail typically has a pretty steep downside in terms of the recidivism rate. And we've seen that here in the state of California. But that is one of Trump's bipartisan bills, the criminal justice reform passed by Democrats. What was amazing about this is even when Trump announced criminal justice reform and talked about it in the State of the Union address, Democrats still had a rough time clapping for it. So Nancy Pelosi was like slow to get to her feet on criminal justice reform, for example. But here was President Trump finishing up the sort of unifying portion of his speech, which is the first 35 minutes. This is clip 7.
Our roaring economy has, for the first time ever, given many former prisoners the ability to get a great job and a fresh start. This second chance at life is made possible because we passed landmark criminal justice reform into law. Everybody said that criminal justice reform couldn't be done, but I got it done, and the people in this room got it done.
Right, okay, and the Democrats, look, see, there you can see Pence in the background clapping, and Pelosi refuses to clap for a bill that she helped sponsor. Right, look, you can see Pence start to clap. Now, eventually, she realizes what's going on. I don't know if she was distracted or what. Eventually, she realizes what's going on and that she's not supposed to be sour for this part, and she starts clapping. But that is a bad optic look. He is complimenting the people in the room, and the Democrats are like, won't take the compliment. Trump said a nice thing. Can't do that. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and share it with all of your friends.